All right, guys. Sorry I've been out all week. Just wanted to come back in, and I wasn't able to come yet, so I'll probably be there Monday. Just wanted to tell you I'm okay, just a little sick, but I wanted you to be able to go ahead with the lesson for today. And so we're gonna do it through screencast, which is me doing it on my screen, and then you're gonna do it on paper. So. Um, what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and fill in some vocabulary words for you. Today we're going to be looking at, if you can see the learning target here says, I can use percents to calculate sales tax, which we're not doing today, but tips and commission we are. So I want to start by talking about vocabulary as far as tip. When you go out to a restaurant and your waiter or waitress provides you service, they get your meal for you, they provide you with water, they refill all those things. This is when you give them an extra amount. So this is going to be amount you give for a service that is given or rendered. Okay. And so you'll want to write this down and move it over a little bit so you can see it. Maybe grab a hold of it here. Okay. So the amount of, I should say of money, you give for a service that is given or rendered to you, something that somebody does for you. So you give them some money on top of that. Some other places that you might give a tip is like if you go get your nails done or your hair done at a salon. Most of the time you give a tip on top of what you pay to have your hair done. If you're stylist or you're the person doing your nails or whatever. If they do a good job, you give them a little bit of extra money. So that's another situation where you might give a tip to someone, maybe in a cab. If you were to ride in a taxi cab, like in a big city, you might tip your driver for getting you there safely and on time, on top of what you owe them for getting you there, driving you. So that is tip. I'm going to give you a minute or two to write that down. I'm going to go ahead and go down to commission. And under commission, you're going to write, this is a percent of money given based on the amount of sales. So some places, back when I was younger, I know places like Belk's or JCPenney, sometimes they gave a commission based on the amount of money somebody made in sales that day, and they, would have people out trying to help you pick out what you were going to wear that day or what you wanted to buy, not wear, but what you were going to buy. And a lot of times they would try and upsell you and find, they had like the most expensive clothes and they would try and find to sell you and that kind of thing. This also applies, like if you've ever gone with your parents to look at buying a car, the person who is out there, the salesperson at the car lot, they might try and upsell things because they want you, like power locks or all-wheel drive or that kind of thing. Those are extras that come in cars. And the more money, or the more the cost of the car, the amount of money that they sell the car for, the more money that they get based on that. And that is commission. It's the money on top of or based off of the amount of sales. That should say sales. So go ahead and write that down on your paper as well. And then I'm going to click over and we're going to look at a question or so on the PowerPoint that you'll have. Again, this is lesson 12 from our Ready book. Why it's so sensitive. This one is sorry, I'm going to try and write here. I hope it'll write on here. It says Miss Johnson bought dinner at Red Robin. Dinner cost $32, and she left a 15% tip. What was the tip she left? Then what is my total cost, or what is her total cost? So the amount of my dinner was $32. Okay, and then my tip was 15%. And you learned yesterday how to do 15%. I'm going to do it up here at the top. 15 divided by 100. I'm not very good at using this pen. 15 divided by 100, which all you do on that, the little trick, is to move your decimal place 2 points. So you'll do 32 times point, can't see my point very good, 1, 5. Okay, and I want you to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do it on your calculator right now. I'm going to do it on mine. Okay, so you're going to do 32 times 0.15, and I got 4.8. I'm really terrible with this pen, guys. So I got 4.8. Well, 4.8 is the amount on top of my cost. So when you're talking about tip, we're talking about addition or adding. So now you need to do 32 plus 4.8. Okay? And so you should get 36.8. And since we're talking about money, we need to put that 0 on the end. So my total cost there is $36.80 because I left $4.80 as a tip. So this was my tip. Okay? All right. So hopefully I'm going to give you a couple seconds to get that written down. And hopefully that helps you understand. When we're talking about tip and commission, we're talking about addition. We're adding something to our total cost or our cost of what we are paying for. So it's on top of or in addition to. Okay? All right. Our next problem says, which expression, and the only thing about the difference between an expression and an equation is an expression doesn't have equal marks. So you see that there's no equals marks there. Cannot be used to calculate the amount that we paid for the meal, including the 15% tax. So the M is going to be our meal. Okay, so it says here, see, meal is M. So 15%. So we did, we added our 32, right? Plus, we added 0.15 times 32. Oops, that's really bad. Or our meal, our total. And we got that, this part right here, was 4.8. Okay? So, if you look at these equations, this is our M, which was 32. Okay? Then 0.15 was our percent. And the M again was the 32. So, that first one, for sure, we can use it. Okay? The next one is saying we have our 32 plus 1.15 times M. So that would be, if we were doing that into what percent are we multiplying there? If we moved our decimal like we learned yesterday, so 1.15, if we move our decimal back the other way, 2 places, that would be 115%. times our meal. Do we want to give a tip that's 115%? No way. Even if they were excellent, nobody hardly ever is going to do that. So that one does not work. So B is not. Okay. So the next one is, again, we do 32. Okay. Plus, it says 3 over 20. Okay. So we know now that anytime we have a fraction, we can just put it in. We put our top number, 3, divided by 20, and we get 0.15. So is that the same as 15%? Yes, it is. And then it's times, so it's the same as the first one. So we can use that one for sure. Okay. And so we look, let me get back, sorry. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Okay. So the last one is 1.15 M. The one here is representing the M. So this one is a little tricky, but it's really saying it's like the total plus 15%. So that's why that last one works as well, even though it looks like it wouldn't, because it's 1 and 15%. So it's the total meal, okay, because normally when you're writing, you would have a 1 here, okay. So if we added those together up here at the top, it would be 1.15 M, because we have 1 here and 0.15 here. So this one would also be it. So the one that did not work was B. Okay, I hope that made sense. I know that last part is a little bit harder to understand. Okay, so next I want you to look back at your definition for percent, or commission, sorry, not percent, but it's the percent of money that a person gets based on the sales amount. So they get paid like a regular wage, but then on top of that, they get paid a certain commission. So commission is also going to be addition. Sorry, I gotta get my pen again. So it's also addition. Tony sells sporting goods. He makes 10% commission on every dollar of sales he makes. 1 month, Tony got a commission check for $2,500. What were his sales in dollars that month? Okay, so here we have the total sale, or we get his sales commission. So what we need to know is that he gets 10% commission. Okay, so 10%, okay, we're going to change that again to a decimal. We're going to move 2 places, put it as 0.10. So you want to do 2,500 and in this case, because we normally would multiply, we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to divide. So you're going to say, here's his what his check was. So that would be you would have this 200 or 2,500. I'm really bad at this. Equals 0.10 times X. Okay, X is the amount he sold, the amount of dollars. Okay, so we don't know that, X. And so in order to solve that, because this is multiplication, we want to do the opposite of that. So we want to divide by 0.10. Okay, and that makes these cancel out. That becomes just X. And then what you do on that side of the equation, this line comes down with your equals marks. Sorry, and you have to do it. You have to do it again, okay? So you go 0.10 over here as well. All right, so if you put 2,500 in your calculator, then you divide it by 0.10, you should get $25,000. That's how much he sold. So 25,000, it's got 3 zeros here, is your answer. Okay. All right, let's look at this next one. Elena gets a base pay of $1,500 per month. She also earns a commission of 8% of the total sales dollars that she makes. What is her earnings for a month when she has a sales of $3,200? Okay. So again, we're going to look at this. We've got some important information. She gets this, plus she gets 8% of everything she sells, okay? So, when we're looking at the amount she sells, so we want to do 8%, and we can change it to a decimal. So you would do 8 over 100, and that will give you 0.08, okay? If you did 8 divided by 100, you will get 0.08. And then you want to times that by, okay, $32,000. Okay, so you want to do 0.8 or 0.08 times 32, 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1,000. And you would get $2,560. Well, that is just her commission, okay? So if you'll look on that answer is there. And if we weren't paying attention, we would have put that one. But she also gets this. So we have to go back and we have to add that 1,500 to that, okay? So put 2,560 in your calculator. Then you want to add 1,500, and your answer will be C. Okay? So that one was 2 steps, and so it was a little bit harder. But you just have to pay attention and make sure you're watching to see what was happening there. Okay? Next, this one is about a car. So Jack is a car salesman. He works strictly on commission. For every car he sells, he earns 2% commission. Cars sell for $35,000 each. The shade in the number of cars that he sells, or he needs to sell in order to reach his target income of $5,000 at the end of the month. Okay, so we know he wants to make $5,000. My goodness, guys. Sorry. Here, let's change our color here to magenta, whatever. So 2%, right? We want to change that to a decimal, and that would be, you do 2 divided by 100, which will give you 0.02. And each car he's going to get, or the cars sell for $35,000. So we're going to do that times 35,000. And we're going to see how much one car, okay, would be worth. So 0.02 times 35,000. And that's $700 per car, okay? $700 per car. And it says here that he wants $5,000. So we need to see how many cars he needs to sell in order to get close to $5,000. So what I would do is I would go 700 plus 700, because that would be 2 cars. And that was 1,400. Then I'm going to add another car, which would be 700. And that would be 2,100 plus 700. We're now on 4 cars. This is 2,800. Okay, we're going to add another car, 700. That's $3,500 plus 700. Okay, we're at 6 cars now, 4,200 plus 700. He's at 4,900, which is just $100 away at 7 cars. So one more. If we add 700 again, we're going to be over that 5,000 mark. So he has to sell at least 8 cars to get the $5,000. Okay? And that would give him $5,600. So he's a little bit over his target, but that's what we want. And so we found that one car was 700. If you add these together, okay, and you would it says to color them in, so we would color in however many. That's 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So he would need 8 cars in order to get the amount he wants. Okay. And that is the end of what we had for you today. But I do want you to do the 2 problems at the bottom of your worksheet as your bell rate or as your exit ticket today. So the one that says Macy and Brianna ate dinner at a restaurant, that's your tip problem, and your commission problem. A furniture salesman earns 7% commission for his sales. How much commission would he earn? That is your commission problem. So you've got those 2 problems to do on your own for the end of class. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm going to also put some stuff on Prodigy. So you want to finish up those 2 problems, check it with the sub. And then I will have some questions on Prodigy for you to do. All right, have a good day. I hope to see you Monday. Maybe we'll get some snow this weekend or not. Anyway, bye guys. Maybe.